you get this. Once you type this, you get this interface, and you simply you get started. You just type, click on create. So just like I told you, I normally like using the the offline version of it. So this is the offline version of it. Quick review. Yesterday we talked about splits, and we realized that if you want to add a split, you simply go to this page and you see several splits. There are several splits you can add to. But there's one other important thing I want us to look into today. In today's class, we are going to re-emphasize on coordinates. If you're a friend to mathematics, okay. If you're a friend to mathematics, you should be familiar with this now. This is a coordinate. This is a coordinate of we call it Cartesian coordinate. And what we talk about and my mouse is now. When you talk of the X version of it, from the right is positive, from the left is negative, upward of this place is upward of it is the upward of it is simply positive y. Y down is negative y. So let's go on. Once this is established, I think we are done with the movement of the splits. So let's still go back to our project and let's go back to our project. Now, once I change this, once by default, this split is on 0, 0, meaning that if we are to analyze it from the Cartesian coordinate, it simply means that it is at the center of it. So if I reduce this one, if I reduce this by 10, this x by 10, that means this particular split have to go back because I'm reducing it by 10. Then, okay, let me press enter. Can we see it now? Then if I also increase this y by 100, that means it will go up 100 steps. Are we getting it? So, and that is it. We can as well change the name of this split. For example, I can change it to cat. Then we can add another sprite. Sorry, I chose this stage. Can add another sprite. Choose sprite. Can add another sprite, for example. Let me say apple. I like apples. So I can choose another sprite. Then watch. Once this is highlighted, all this stage, all this modification works with the one that goes with. For instance, if I increase the size of, if I reduce this x value to positive 30, this will have to go to the right. You understand it now? If I increase it to positive, it will go up, and so on and so forth. So then, for me to affect any other change, I have to highlight the cat. If I want to delete it, I can simply do what? Click on delete, and I'll delete the sprite. So any code we are going to write at this point will be affected on this. We'll simply drag it, and once we write a code here, it will only affect this. Even if I add another split, for instance, okay, let me say, if I click on this, it will rotate, right? Now, let me add another split. Let's see what I'm saying. If I add another split, for instance, now, if I add another split, for instance, and I go to this place, if I click on this thing will only have, this code only affect the highlighted one, because if I must, if it must affect the second one, I have to highlight. I will add it like this. Then you can now rotate, and so on and so forth. All right. Furthermore, apart from code, there is what we call costume. Each of these has what we call costumes, meaning each sprite comes with default costumes. You can actually add more. We can actually customize it. Customize means modify. You can decide to change the color. You can decide to change the color of the shirt now. We fill it with other colors. For instance, can you see it now? And you fill it with other colors. And you can choose to, even choose that you choose to modify the color of our face to another color, or the previous one is okay. So can you see it now? You can modify it. So this is simply what? The costumes. So now you can as well check if there is a sound allocated by default to this costume. This is the default. So this is the default sound, and so on and so forth. Then we'll now talk of the sizes, and we can decide to show a split. You can decide to show it. You can decide to hide it by simply clicking on show and show. Then we also talked about the stages. The stage, also known as it can also be called the background or the backdrop. We have several backdrops depending on what you intend creating and what you want to achieve. You can even choose a house and choose every other thing. So we can choose looks. So this particular split can simply, let's make it to say hello, for instance. This particular split can simply say hello. Can you see it now? Can simply say hello. Then we'll analyze these blocks one after the other, analyze what these blocks are, and if there is room for question, we go on. There's room for question, we go on. Now, when you talk of motion, literally motion means movement. So that means anything related to movement of your split. on your slide, it's under this code block. So the motions, movement, you can move horizontally. Okay, let's analyze this one, for instance. When you take this means it's moving 10 steps forward because horizontal. If I change it to minus, it's moving backward. That means the split is moving backward, 10 steps backward. If I change it to 30 steps, that means the split will move 30 steps forward. Then we can also rotate the split. You understand it now? So we can choose to rotate it and move it 30 steps. Can you see? The split is simply moving and equally rotate. Then we can also choose, if we want to delete a split, we simply delete a split. Very simple. Then we can also choose for this to go at random positions. We can choose at a random position. Random means we can predict where it is. So all these simple tools can be made use of to produce games. Then we go to position. It comes with the default location of this particular split. So if you look very well, if you check the value of this to the value of this now, to the value here, you find out that they are the same. If you find out that they are the same, so let me zoom it, for instance. Can you see that the value here is the same thing as the value here? So, and that is it. Okay. That being said, let's play a little with the splits. Okay. Let's play a little with the splits. Okay, let's delete this, for example. You can decide to duplicate a code. Sorry, you can decide to duplicate a code. Then that means I've duplicated this code. You understand? By simply right-clicking on then you can decide to delete a block. Then watch, there is another good drop down from this. Add comments. In programming, comments are simply notations. They are simply notations that explains what happens in a particular place. You are the one that writes it. It doesn't have a syntax. I can simply write it. The computer doesn't interpret it. So I can simply inscribe that this is a lesson log. So I can simply just leave it. So whenever I open this code now, and maybe if I have several codes and I was like, I'm confused, what really happened over here? I can simply go Stripe and check what I did over here by what I explained. It's just like taking notes or making remarks. So that's what comment is. You need it a lot in programming. It's needed a lot in programming. So for you to make your code more readable and understandable, and for someone to help you manage it. So the comment is very important. So that's been said. Then we have several pointer, direction pointer. Let's delete all the split and choose another one. And choose another split. Okay. Let me choose an animal. Let's choose an animal for instance now. Then this direction pointer. If I choose a negative, just like movement, if I choose another direction, this, once I click on this, it has changed the direction of the bear. You all get it. You can change it to any form you want. You can change the direction. It's now 90 degree minus 90 degree from the initial position it was. Okay, now if you remember yesterday, previous class, I made you to know that we can actually restrict the movement, the direction movement of a particular split. For example, at these features. Remember this place, this particular place now, the first place means that it rotates all around. While this one implies that it's either face front or face back. So let's place it there and see what happens. Once I change the direction to a little bit minus, can we see the difference now? So all this and more, all this and more is good for us. Then this stage, we can add more stages. Add more stages to our drops, and then the next one is loops. We're going to check about analyze few things about loops, and then we'll call it a day for today. So I don't want this lesson to be long. This switch, you can actually switch between drops. Once you go to loops, you can switch between this. We have several backgrounds, nice reverse backdrops, and we can add more to it, and we can change to every. So you can switch this. This is gonna be very important. Then you can decide to automatically switch into. Decide to automatically switch to our several. Let's place it here. And so what did I do now? Hope you are seeing this code. So this looks have several. The looks have several blocks that we can make use of. We can clear effect, change the color effect by so number, and we can set the color effect. We can set so many things. And then the next one is sound. So maybe in the next class we'll continue. I believe, yeah, you are becoming familiar with the Scratch interface. So which is one of the most important things for the lesson for now. So that is it. I don't know if anyone has a question so far. Okay, a quick review before we call it a day. In today's class, we were able to refresh our mind the meaning of programming. That programming simply means writing languages or languages that the computer understands. That means your ability to write statements or combine symbols that the computer can run. So that is it. And we have several programming languages ranging from Python, Java, QBasic, so many of them, JavaScript. But we chose Scratch programming because of its ability to give us the visual programming, because we can make use of blocks and blocks instead of text to program on the computer or to program on Scratch. The Scratch is not limited to production of games. We can use it to produce our digital stories, our own music instruments, and so on and so forth. For instance, you can add more coding blocks here, and that's what we still do for us. We'll still do those ones as time goes on. So, and that is it. And we're able to understand these values that is allocated to a split. And then, most importantly, we worked on the Cartesian plane. The Cartesian plane, we need to work on it. The Cartesian plane, that this place, this is the center, and the center implies 0. Means once you're on 0, you're on the origin of the Cartesian plane. Addition positive of x means going to the right from the origin. Negative of x means going to the left of the origin. Then positive of y means going up on the origin. Negative of y means going down on the origin. And that being said, we are also made mention of duplication of blocks. You can duplicate a block. For instance, you can duplicate this block by simply right-clicking on it to duplicate it and place it here. You can as well delete a block. You can as well add a comment, and a comment simply means a reminder of what actually happened. So you might not appreciate it now, but when we start writing a cumbersome code, you will make use of it. So that is it. I can simply put anything I put here on this comment, the computer doesn't interpret it. So anything that I put here, the computer doesn't interpret it. I can just place block of code. You understand? Block of code, and I save it. The implication, the need and the value of it simply means that whenever I come again to run this code, or I want to modify the code, and I must have forgotten what I did there, I'll simply go to this comment and analyze, maybe refresh my mind on what I did. And that is how it works. So I think that's for today. So hopefully before next week, we get the lessons over to you on your dashboard, and you can watch it over, and we also place the assignment over. So that is it. But thank you for joining today. And also, if you want to subscribe to the premium version of this program, you can easily charge the admin and simply charge the admin. The cost of the program is 20,000 CFA, but nevertheless, the and mobile application. So nevertheless, we so okay, thank you.